Well, you know that that's not true, Jake.
Today's breaking story features Democrat Senator Cory Booker snapping back at CNN's Jake Tapper. Booker felt the need to check Tapper after the news anchor's comment just did not land right with him, and I'll have the exchange for you in just a minute. Liberal-leaning CNN and the Democrat Party enjoy a mostly cozy relationship because they share a common enemy in Donald Trump and the extremism within the Republican Party. But in the end, Jake Tapper is an award-winning journalist with a Harvard degree who grills politicians for a living. And Cory Booker, also an Ivy League graduate, is an accomplished TV personality and debater, so some fireworks were likely to result from this unique meeting of the minds. Before I get to the confrontational part of the interview, I want to first play my favorite part of the interview. Listen as the consistently positive Booker says something that very few Democrats would utter. He says that he's rooting for a certain kind of Republican to kill that strain and restore us to a balanced democracy.
And what I know this election can do is finally kill that strain of the Republican Party in a way that I think helps the pragmatic Republicans come back. I'm one big believer. We get a lot more bipartisan work done than people realize. I just can't stand this tribalism, this zero-sum game, us versus them. If there's any theme in this campaign that I loved, and it was evident by how many Republicans spoke at this convention, people who are not Democrats, who will, once we get back to sort of the McCain party or even the Bush party or the Reagan party, will probably go back to voting Republican. This is really a binary choice. Are we going to have the politics of Donald Trump, which is smear and fear, denigration and demeaning, or are we going to have a page be turned in America where we get back to coming together, meeting in the middle, showing that we can compromise and actually get big things done as a nation?
And in this part of the interview, watch as Booker shocks me and maybe you too by saying Kamala Harris is still behind, that in spite of the great poll numbers we're seeing. And then I'll play the moment the conversation turns.
Donald Trump remains a formidable opponent and in many ways is more popular today than he was in 2020 or 2016.
I like our positioning. We're still behind. We're still dealing with somebody that we almost have to remind folks of how disastrous his term was. He thinks he's better on the economy and the budget. Well, he's the person that blew trillions of dollars of a hole in our deficit, giving overwhelmingly tax cuts to the wealthiest in America or our wealthiest corporations. He's the one that met one of our biggest trials, COVID, by telling people we should be injecting bleach. He's the one that played the politics of division and pitting one part of America against another part of America. The more people focus on this and his record of taking away individual rights, tearing down Roe v. Wade, his record, the more people realize that and listen to him. Just listen to him. You can't even focus on policy.
And now for the confrontational moment as Tapper grills Booker, but unintentionally sets him up to reveal MAGA subversion.
A new chapter? I mean, she's the incumbent vice president. Democrats have controlled the White House for 12 of the last 16 years. How can Democrats talk about a new chapter turning the page? You guys are the ones writing the book.
Well, you know that that's not true, Jake, because you know politics like I do. Right now, we see the MAGA Republicans in Congress killing all kind of pragmatic policies that we need to get done. On the most contentious issue, we had a bipartisan deal settled on by Senator Lankford, a right-wing Republican, and Chris Murphy, a blue state Democrat. And what killed that deal, what killed the pragmatic progress, wasn't the sensible Republicans, but really people that were kowtowing to Donald Trump. His influence is egregious and incredible. From his appointment of 3 people to the Supreme Court that are now rolling back the most fundamental of our rights and freedoms, like bodily autonomy and reproductive rights. So to say that the MAGA Republicans are not still undermining common sense, pragmatic, sensible politics is just wrong.
When news networks like CNN host politicians for these 5 to 10 minute interviews, we often see something called the pivot. The anchor person asks the question they want an answer to, and the politician pivots to what they want to talk about. And Cory Booker did pivot very slightly and without any resistance from Tapper, and I love what he pivoted to, that a Kamala Harris presidency could allow more moderate Republicans to regain power, leading to greater progress on key issues facing the country. The ultimate goal, in Booker's view, is a more functional government that can address pressing national issues through collaborative efforts rather than partisan gridlock. Critics may argue that this view underestimates the entrenchment of current ideological divisions, but I like Booker's optimism, and after what I've seen this month, I don't think we can discount any possibilities. I'm Dan, and thanks for watching, and let's continue to occupy democracy together.